Yeah, I'm Matt Walden, and I'm from Bradenton, Florida. Born and raised, baby. So I went to high school at Manatee High School, and I graduated in 2013. You know, playing a show here, it always feels good coming back. There are good memories and tough memories when I'm back home, but I do love Bradenton dearly, so it's always fun to be back here. I met Zack, I saw his videos on Instagram. He was doing a bunch of covers that were like, you could feel it was him exuding through like the screen and being himself, and I was like, damn, this is sick. And then we just kind of hit it off on Instagram, and then he came to one of my shows, and then from there we just kind of started being friends, started playing together. Like tonight he's playing with me, I'm playing with him, and it feels like I've made a friend that I've had for a long time, if that makes sense. He's helped open me up. I get to be a little more vulnerable with my music, and it's nice to have a friend that's not afraid to call you out on your shit. So if I write something, he'll tell me if it's not vulnerable enough, or if like there's something more there. And it's like when someone calls you out on something, it's just a really good friend to have. So this is the Little Messed Up tour part 2. Part 2 because we started it last year, and it was a song I put out at a really vulnerable moment in my life. I feel like I was very lucky for a lot of my life, and I didn't really have a lot of hardships, and then it's like they all compounded and hit me at the same time. I had gone through an awful breakup, and then I moved back home because my friend Ryan was like, you should move in with me back in Fort Myers. I say home, it became my second home. But I moved back with Ryan, and then a hurricane came and wiped out our house. And so at that time, I really wanted to make something that felt authentic in what I was dealing with. And I was reading The Creative Act by Rick Rubin, which is a wonderful book. But all that to say is I wanted to make something that felt authentic, and so I wrote a song called Little Messed Up. And originally it was a little fucked up, but then I played it for my mom, and she's like, maybe don't. And so I changed it to A Little Messed Up, and a lot of people have just really loved the song, and it just feels like the most authentic version of me. So this tour is like just me being all of myself. So I'm excited about it. Going through all of that helped me be more of myself. I think I've been a dulled down version of me for a long time, and I was too scared to be all of me, with fear of like people not loving it and not liking it. And then maybe it's just hitting 30 years old or something, but all the life experiences led me to not really care what people think as much. And I mean, there's still days I go through it, I think everyone does, but a lot of it now is like, I'm gonna be me, and if you like it, you'll stick around. If you don't, you'll leave, and that's perfectly fine. So it's gonna help me do that. So if you're an aspiring creative, I mean, I don't necessarily think I'm like the best person to give advice. I think I'm in like my own little bubble, but I think that's what's helped me to share with other people is you don't have to be this big thing. You can be you, and it can be enough for you. It doesn't have to be what other people want. So like size it might look better to other people, but as long as you're happy and you're doing what you love, I think that's more than enough. So I guess the message with my music is not only like the relatability factor and like you finding something in it for yourself, but like a healthy form of escapism where maybe you're not turning to things that are detrimental to your health, and instead you like find yourself lost in a song or lost in a moment where that song becomes like a soundtrack to something. For me, I always put on my favorite albums when I go on like new journeys and trips or like new albums, and it helps kind of define that moment for me. And then when I listen to it, I get to relive those memories. So I'm like escaping in it. So hopefully I can do that for someone else. I get super overstimulated in big groups. Like it's so funny, when I'm playing on stage, that's the only time I can be in a big crowd. Like if I'm playing 4 people, everything's good, but as soon as I'm not playing and I'm in the crowd, I am so not okay to be there, and I want to be okay because I want to connect with people. It's hard to be yourself when there's so much energy around you, pulling you in different things. But if I get to connect with people, and even at like a big scale, small scale, I'm happy. One of my favorite bands is 21 Pilots, and one of the things he always says is stay alive. And I think that's something a lot of people need to remember, is like shit gets so hard, and I've been there where you think it's not worth it to stay in this world anymore, but I promise you can find a reason to be here, just like you can find your niche, your thing in music or whatever whatever thing that you do, you can find it. So stay here.